I'm going to show you how to make a plate on the wheel. Here we go. So you want to make sure your clay is centered. And when you're centering clay for a plate, you want to make sure you go low and wide. So first just the regular centering, and then when you're pushing downward, you want to start to get low. And you want to be approximately maybe 2 inches in from what you want the circumference of the plate to be. You don't want to get too thin with the plate because you can always trim it off. So here you go with the plate centered, and now you're ready to go. Now making a plate is very similar to making a cylinder, except for most of the work with the plate is flattening the bottom. You want to make a little hole right there, just like you would with a cylinder, fill it up with water. But with this one, the only difference is that this is the only time I really recommend using a sponge up against your clay when you're throwing. And the reason you want to do this when you open your hole is because you want to avoid having this ring of clay coming up and over. So if you open your hole with your sponge, then you're able to keep it compressed down. And so you just come out like this until you get to the end. Now that caused a lot of stress on the middle of the plate right now, and so it's very important that you recompress your bottom. And you do that by taking your sponge and you start on the outside edge, and then you come into the center, flatten out that little mountain there, and then come back out. And you want to do this about 5 or 6 times, just in and out. And you want to end on the out. It's important that this is really flat. I mean, imagine having mashed potatoes and gravy. You don't want all the gravy to roll to the edge of the plate. You want to make sure it stays level. All right, so this looks nice and even, like that. So now what you're going to do is one pull. Just get this straight and get your walls straight up and down. And just one pull upward, like that. And then compress down. If you have so much clay that you're coming up really high, then you might have been able to go wider to make your plate bigger. Now this little stage right here can almost be made for a quiche plate, a pie plate. You can keep it just like this, put handles on the side. You have a lot of options with this. But I want to show you how to make a plate. So after this, now there's 2 styles to make your rim, and I'm going to show you both of them. But first you want to remove as much clay from the bottom edge right here as possible. And I'm doing this now because once the rim is flipped, you're not going to be able to get in. And get this off. And all this does is make your plate easier to trim when it's time. Okay, so plate rim number 1 is just having a flat plate with a little bit of a rounded edge. You take your rounded rib, put it on the plate, similar to making a bowl, and you just press the butt end out and keep your rim turned up. And there you have your flat bowl, or excuse me, your flat plate with just a nice little rim. This is a nice type of plate to use if you want to do some kind of decoration across the whole plate, some kind of painting on the plate. That's very nice. All right, so now let me show you rim 2. And I have to sort of undo what I just did in order to show that to you. So let me come back up to this quiche plate stage. And the second rim is similar to when we made our bowl rim. And wet this a little bit. You're going to catch it. Remember, palm up, you're catching it in your finger, on your finger, and you're taking the rib and you're flipping it out onto your finger. So now you have a plate with a nice decorative rim, excuse me. And so this kind of plate is very nice if you want to have the middle be more plain, and then you can do some kind of banded design or decoration around the outside. And that's how you make a plate. Let me show you how to cut it off. Thumbs down. Wait a second. Okay. And you go slowly, and it's essential that you make many rotations when you pull the wire through with a plate. If you go through too fast, you're going to have an uneven bottom. And there you have it.